Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Slack on Flicks podcast. I am your host, film critic, and 16 News Now producer, Benjamin Slack. We are officially in the week of Christmas. I hope all of you are having a wonderful holiday season. I myself, of course, I have told you before, I absolutely love this time of the year. I love the music. I love the settings. I love the weather, as long as I'm not driving in it. And of course, I love the movies as well. And, you know, I did that episode with Meredith Scheimer just recently where we talked about 3 of our favorite films to watch during this time. You can go ahead and check that out by going to WNDU.com and going to the Slack on Flicks tab. And of course, you can see that on YouTube as well. But another fun thing, I mean, who says that it has to be Christmas to watch movies during the Christmas season? Because sometimes just going out to the theater on a cold winter's day can be just as fun. And that's what I did this past weekend because we had 2 very big, very highly anticipated movies come out a few days ago. And needless to say, I think both of them were actually pretty decent. We're going to start with a film that's based on the best-selling novel by Frida McFadden in 2022. I'm talking about The Housemaid. Now, like I said, this is based on the best-selling novel of 2022, almost said 2023. And I got to admit that the book was actually very, very good. I gave it a read before I watched the film, and the book is very well written. It is so compellingly thrilling that you truly cannot put it down until you get some answers. And when you do get those answers, well, that feeling just intensifies even more. And before we go into the full review, I can say that the cast did a very good job. I cannot picture anybody else in these roles right now. But you know what? Let's check out a preview of the film. This is The Housemaid.
I want you to feel safe here.
I do.
Theodore.
The story follows Millie, played by Sydney Sweeney, who takes a job in the luxurious Winchester household. While it all seems right with the world for a moment, things begin to spiral out of control when she begins to battle the threats of the unstable Nina Winchester, played by Amanda Seyfried, and the unbearable attractiveness of her husband, Andrew, played by Brandon Skelner. Meanwhile, Millie harbors a sinister secret of her own. The story contains themes of psychological torment and breaking away to be your own person, and they're presented in such a way that does not feel new, but still fresh enough to feel earned and exciting when the key moments occur. It's a film that plays it safe to avoid disappointing fans of the novel, but introduces original ideas that make it more of a study experience. The Housemaid is a film that I would call a triple in the ballpark, as it delivers on everything that audience members are looking for in a modern-day thriller. I mean, it has suspense, satisfying writing, a direction that makes its actors chilling and unrecognizable in roles that they played before. I mean, Amanda Seyfried and Brandon Skelner could have received Golden Globe nominations for this. Needless to say, Sydney Sweeney does a decent job as well. And the main thing overall is that it has a sense of entertainment that makes you not want to take your eyes off screen until those credits start rolling. I'm giving it a slacker scale B. Now on to the film that everybody was talking about both last week and continue on into this week as well. It's Avatar: Fire and Ash. Now, I have to admit that this series does not fall into my top 10 of overall favorites, but it's understandable why it has gained the following that it has since its introduction in 2009. I mean, can you believe that? I remember when the first film came out. I was so little at the time, and I remember everybody talking about it. And I didn't see it until 2022 before the second film came out. But needless to say, you know what, let's get some VO up here so you're just not looking at my face. Also, the reason why I wore blue, I mean, it's obvious. I don't even have to say. But there we go. We got some VO up there. It's the VO of Fire and Ash right now, but you can see in the photo down below me that is Avatar 1, and it will go to Avatar. Yep, there's Avatar 2 right now. But needless to say, Avatar 1, I'd say, is a movie that is more impressive and important to history for its technical achievements and box office legacy than probably as a film as itself, a film as a whole. It's a movie that takes a concept similar to 1990s Dances with Wolves and modernizes it into an action visual achievement. Sorry, I hit the mic right there. And it holds up and, you know, is even more beautiful with its soundtrack composed by the late James Horner. You know, overall, it's entertaining. It's likable. Effects are beautiful. Beautiful score. Compelling story. You know what? I'm starting to just repeat myself right now. So you know what? I gave it a slacker scale B-. Avatar: The Way of Water released 13 years later. It was 13 years in the making, if you can believe that. After that long wait, the story that we were presented, honestly, it felt really boring, and I found myself not liking half of the new characters that were introduced. I thought some of them were a bit whiny, and then some of them were just retreads of what we saw before. They didn't really feel fresh and new. And you know what? The new lands of Pandora were cool. The effects were a bit mixed, I'd say. And overall, I think it's a sequel that attempted really hard, but just didn't work in the end. Unfortunately, I gave it a D+. But now, that brings us to today. It brings us to Fire and Ash, and I am not going to lie. I am going to restart this footage because for some reason it paused right there and I didn't even notice. There we go. That brings us to Avatar: Fire and Ash, released this past weekend, that made a really good amount at the box office. In fact, the last time I looked, I think it made over 300 million worldwide, which is fantastic right there. It's nothing, it's not the biggest box office opening of the year. That still belongs to the Minecraft movie, but it's still commendable and proves that the Avatar franchise is most likely going to continue in 2029 and 2031, just as director James Cameron has promised us. But enough rambling right now, enough ad-libbing, because I don't know how I'm doing at this. This is the first time I'm actually ad-libbing throughout the whole show like this. I haven't stopped the record button. But you know what? Let's move on to a preview right now so you could see what the upcoming review is going to be.
Your goddess has no dominion here.
This third installment offers a few reasons to enjoy it, like the effects and an improved story compared to the second film. But once it's over, you start to think about the not-so-good moments as well. It takes place immediately after Avatar: The Way of Water, and the Sully family is still mourning the loss of their eldest son as another new threat appears in Pandora, the Ash people. At the same time, we have a daughter trying to learn her identity, a son trying to prove his worthiness, a human looking to stay with the Na'vi tribe, and Colonel Kortridge is still seeking revenge for the events of the previous adventures. If you can't tell already, the movie attempts to balance way too many storylines for one film, and each one's balanced in an editing route that feels rushed and hard to connect to most of the time. The good news, though, is that each story does have its compelling moments that are interesting. Avatar: Fire and Ash culminates what director James Cameron is calling the first chapter in his Avatar experience to a close. And by the time that moment arrives on screen, the connection feels earned enough because you've been with these characters since 2009 in the first film. You've grown a relationship with them, even the ones that are unlikable or maybe just mediocre. You know their personalities, you know how they're going to be, and you have that connection with them. And you know what, by the time their storylines draw to a close in this film, it feels satisfying enough, I'd say. Fire and Ash is far from being the best film of 2025, but it's not the worst one either. While it is predictable from the beginning, I'd say it still makes for an entertaining 3 hours during a nice winter holiday weekend. I'm giving it a passing slacker-scaled C. And that is going to bring this episode of Slack on Flicks to a close. I don't know about you, but it felt really fast as I was recording this. I hope it doesn't feel like that to you who are watching. I hope it was entertaining enough to keep going. But, of course, we got the Christmas holiday week going on right now. I still have some shopping to do, actually, so I gotta go leave the studio and get that done. I hope you guys enjoyed Avatar: Fire and Ash and The Housemaid as much as I did talking about it right now. Remember, you can read my full reviews of those two films by going to WNDU.com, clicking on the Entertainment tab. And of course, since this is the Christmas week, remember I did that episode with Meredith Scheimer last week about our favorite Christmas films. That is on WNDU.com as well by going on the digital tab. And of course, you can find that and other episodes on YouTube as well. I'm Benjamin Slack. Thank you guys so much for watching, and Merry Christmas, everybody.